a minute here. Should kick on any second now for my phone. Cause like, that's how I see chat. Okay, there we go. Now we got it open. Alright, everyone, we're back. Just like I promised, in yesterday's stream. We're gonna be playing some more Fatal 12, and we're probably gonna try to complete, the 5th week. Yeah, we were on the 5th week. I didn't get to complete it because I had to keep stopping because my allergies kept acting up. And, you know, I just had to go, like, every few minutes to blow my nose because it was, like, really bad and my nose started running. Seems like whatever was causing my allergies, you know, started dying down, so that's good. I think it might have been the dust in my, some of my old trophies. So, like, I went through each of them one more time and just dusted them off again. It could have been from that. I do not remember exactly where we left off, but I'm sure if once I open the game, I'm gonna, like, immediately figure it out. So let's just jump into it. God, you know what I suddenly remembered? Remember when I played Dust and Elysian Tale that one time, but then, like, you know, I stopped playing it because I had a bad mic and I was gonna play the game again as soon as my mic got better? Fuck, it's been like months now, and I'm not sure when I'm gonna pick it up again. Like, I wanna complete, like, should I complete that game? Or, like, should I try to complete the games I'm playing right now, or because there's like there are other games that are coming out soon, like Move 78 and Ubel that's coming out at the end of the year, and like at the start of next year there's gonna be Decide for God, which is the last entry in the Abime series. And then after that there's gonna be that Inescapable game that I watched the trailer for and I still gotta make a video on. Yeah, there's like a lot. There's like a lot of stuff that I still that I want to play. It's kind of hard to make a decision. I think I'm probably like, as soon as I'm done with like the Fatal 12 and Neon White series, if I'm lucky and I have like enough time on Saturdays when I get back to school, on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm probably gonna have like sometimes Saturdays we play Dust and Elysian Tale. And then Sundays is like the other games, like, you know, Move 78 and, Ubel and, you know, Decide for God when those games eventually come out, you know. And maybe if we complete Dust and Elysian Tale, we can start playing, you know, Ubel and Decide for God and like, you know, Move 78 in its place. You know, just get through all the different games I want to play. God, there's also, Metal Gear Revengeance that I still want to play as well, because of all the memes, obviously. But, like, in order to play it, because I have, like, a limited amount of data on my game, on my laptop right now, I have to, like, you know, delete all the other games, and then hopefully I'll still have enough data to play that game, you know? Sorry about that. Anyways, let's just go into the game. I just sigh as I take in the unfamiliar room. Mainly because I know the situation I'm in all too well. Right, we're here. He's probably gonna be the next one to go. Well, taking it back, I accept the tea and have a sip. There's not much taste to it. Well, it's to be expected when the drink is more yellow than green. As for why I'm in Shigetsu's house, he brought me inside after a headache knocked me out for a loop. Or what? Not knocked me out, knocked me for a loop. Whoops. Myself and that girl were told to rest until the pain subsided, but she hasn't woken up yet. Oh yeah, the other girl, numeral 4, she doesn't remember her name or anything, but we know that she relates to our death. We probably don't remember her either, which is why we kind of had that headache thing. She probably has it worse because she doesn't remember anything, but you know. I noticed her fidgeting in her sleep, which leads to my involuntarily gulping down the tea.
これは助けてもらったことには感謝してます。ありがとうございました。好きにするがいい。言っておくが、わしの構え方は変わらんよ。はい、わかっています。
You may not see me as his enemy, but there's no denying that we will ultimately have to compete with one another. Not to mention, that the girl made no effort to hide her hostility toward me. Sure, I'm curious about the sudden headache that hit us when we met, but it's too dangerous to stay here. I want to be Sorry. I want to be gone before she wakes up. Jesus Christ. I probably need to get more sleep. These walls are thin enough that people outside would hear me if I screamed, but there's no guarantee they'd actually try to help. Nor that they'd get here in time.
具合は大丈夫かの？大丈夫。心配かけてごめんね。わしに謝ってどうする？これ、お茶でも飲んで落ち着き。ありがとう。
I hadn't intended on staring, but I couldn't take my eyes off them. It was a quick exchange, but the two of them really seemed like an average grandfather and granddaughter. The warmth in this expression reminds me of how my own grandmother looks at me. I planned to leave as quickly as possible, but after witnessing that scene, my feet felt stuck to the floor, which gives the girl an opportunity to turn her attention towards me. Me? You? Me? I keep my mouth shut. There's no reason to respond. I'm better off going straight home.
まだいたんじゃな。このお嬢さんは選定の参加者じゃが、わしらの敵というわけではないぞ。お前呼ばわりは良くないし、さっき表で睨んだじゃろ。それは失礼なことじゃよ。帰る前に謝りなさい。わかった。昼間にこの家に敵が来たんだ。二人もおじいちゃんの家を調べに。だから仲間かと思ってつい警戒しちゃったんだ。ごめんなさい、お姉さん。
This isn't half-hearted. She's even bowing her head. You see scenarios like this often. The granddaughter does something and then apologizes when her grandfather tells her to. I would honestly believe that these two are family had I not known their participants, even though they look so different. They're not just playing parts. Everything about their interaction feels authentic. That just makes things harder for me. I can't blame her though, considering my attitude toward him. Of course, it's not like I've decided to let my guard down around them now. I'm standing by the front door to ensure my escape route serves as proof. However, something she said piqued my interest. I have to confirm with her before leaving. Her eyes widen. Shigetsu, on the other hand, listens without reacting. I did notice some disorganization, but I assume that's how they lived. I don't mean there's trash lying around, but there are a number of newspapers, magazines, and articles of clothing dotting the floor.
顔は覚えておるが、詳しく聞かせておくれ。
I've completely lost my chance to leave now.
お主も聞いていけばよい。ただし、情報交換じゃよ。
He motions for me to sit closer, probably because he knows I've lost my chance to go too.
おじいちゃんのことを探しに来たあの二人がこの家に入ってきたんだ。おじいちゃんが出かけた直後。
I was aware that they'd been scouting out the house from when I last came here. They probably have been for several days. Knowing Shigetsu leaves in the morning, they figured he'd stick to the routine today as well.
だから僕が追い返したよ。女の人の方は強かったけど、男の人はそうでもなかった。
Damn. Federico. Virgin Federico, Chad, what's her name? Audette? It's Audette, right? Do I remember her name? Numero... She should know her own fucking name. It would make sense. Okay, yeah, Audette.
追い返した。だってあの二人だよね。
She's about my height, but she's definitely younger and extremely slender. Judging from how she said numeral 11 was tough, I doubt she gave him a simple verbal threat. These are the same two who took Sonia's parents hostage, as if they'd listened to a kid's threat.
逃げられちゃったけど、3番の男には深手を負わせたよ。あれなら数日間はこの家に来られないと思う。
また暴力を使ったのか。
仕方がなかったんだ。この家を守るためにはそうするしかなかった。それに先に手を出してきたのは向こうだよ。ちょっと待って。君が戦ったの？どうやって？
She has silver hair, of course she's fucking secretly a badass. Or secretly not normal. Not so secretly not normal. God, I'm kinda curious. Like, is she a terrorist? Like, I really don't want to believe that she is a terrorist, but I feel like a plot twist that we know, that we as the audience know, like it's, I don't remember the proper term for it. Dramatic irony, where the audience knows, but the characters don't know what's going on. Like, we're in the know, but they aren't. Like, the best I can describe it is like, when you know two people have a crush on each other, but neither of them know that they have a crush on each other. So it's like this awkward sexual tension just in the room every time both of them are in the room, and you're just like, fucking Jesus. And now I'm suspicious of them again. It's not impossible for her to make this up in an attempt to reveal information out of me. For real?
それにこれを聞いたところで、お主は不利にはならんじゃろうって。
僕はいいけど、おじいちゃんが、まあ、大丈夫かな。
選定が始まった時、この子は行くあてもなくさまよっていたんじゃ。わしと出会って、それでうちで暮らすようになったんじゃよ。
僕は自分の名前も、今まで何をやってきたかも。どうして選定の参加者になったのかも覚えてないよ。だから僕は自身のカードの内容も覚えていない。死因や未練を探そうとしても無駄だよ。
Right. But we do know how you died, actually.
僕はどうしてこの国にいるのかも忘れてしまったんだ。いや、この国が自分の国じゃないというのも結局おじいちゃんに会ってから分かったんだけどね。
Amnesia. Something we have in common. The only difference is that she lost all her memories. I've forgotten bits and pieces prior to and after Divine Selection began, but not enough to affect my life. She, meanwhile, doesn't even know where she is. I can't even begin to imagine. She follows up with a pleasant smile. I find it hard to believe that someone with a smile like this could fend off those two. I've heard about how one retains their personal habits and skills when suffering from amnesia. the loss of personal memory doesn't influence muscle memory or something. But that means she has the ability to go toe-to-toe with those two, even before amnesia.
さて、まだ聞きたいこともあるじゃろうが、お主の番じゃよ。
He turns his attention to me after cutting the conversation short. I guess he did mention some sort of reciprocity. I know it's supposed to be reciprocation, reciprocation, but it's like reciprocity. Is it pronounced I don't fucking know how to pronounce that. God damn it. Google. What the fuck does how do you fucking say this word?
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. There we go. That's the word. We got it. I decide to tell them what I know about those two. All I know is the name of numeral 3.
当然、手段を選ばない者もいるじゃろうな。キャツらの場合、非道な手段を選んだとも言えるが。
I tell them about what they did to Sonia and her parents. Holding a child's parents hostage in order to make them reveal their information. Sheer brute force. However, I make sure not to mention that I have Federico's name card. They never mention what cards they have, so that's fair. So fair is fair. Whoops.
この子が反撃したのも仕方ないことじゃな。
もう、わかった？僕だってちゃんと考えがあったんだからね。
わかっておる、わかっておる。ほれ。
I'll pat your head as a reward. Jesus.
えへへ。
じゃが、お前が怪我をするかもしれなかったんじゃ。気をつけるんじゃぞ。
わかってるよ。でも心配しないで。僕、負ける気がしないから。
Her attitude turns out to be far more childlike than her appearance. From my perspective, she's like a kid who gets carried away after being given a little praise. Still, what she said holds weight if she really was able to fight those two off. Her unpredictability is definitely a concern. Sonia, at least, accepted the fact that she was a participant. These two, on the other hand, care only about living out their lives like normal people.
これで分かったであろう。わしらは争う気はない。やからもう関わらんことじゃ。
His choice of words makes me think he's somehow able to read my mind. I'm not sure if that's intentional, but I'm stunned either way. Then I realize it. They're not normal at all. Even real families would struggle to act as legit as these two do. Plus, they're both participants. This is insane!
でも、きっとあの人たちは諦めません。怪我が治ったら、治らなくたって、必ずまた来ると思います。あなたや私を脱落させないと、あの人たちは生きられないから。
わしらを心配しているのかな。お主はわしらの情報を集めに来たのじゃろ。心配してどうする？
Because despite everything, we still care about people, we still have empathy.
わかりません。でも、ただ思っただけで。
That's right. I'm far from normal myself.
答えを知りたいと豪語していた割には、随分と曖昧な答えじゃの。
嫌な人なんですね、牛塚さんって。
Not that he's wrong. That's why he's been so calm this entire time. He's never seen me as a threat.
おじいちゃんをバカにするの？いや、そうじゃなくて。
気にするでない。ところで、さっきは何を買っておったのじゃ？
これ？さっきあいつらが来た時に洗うやつが壊れちゃって。よくわからないんだけど、お店の人が勧めてくれたんだ。
洗うやつ。ああ、洗濯機の。
お家の
Whoops.
人に聞けばわかるって言ってたけど、おじいちゃんわからない？
Next to her is a washing machine hose. I recognize the logo on the bag. She must have bought it from one of the nearby supermarkets.
わからんの。どうにも機械は苦手での。
洗うやつが壊れたらどうするつもりだったの？
ここならコインランドリーは遠くないからの。
コインランドリー？
お金を払って洗濯機を使える場所じゃよ。
もう、おじいちゃんたら、パチンコをやるために節約するって言ってたでしょ？
I really want to say something, but I don't. She might actually believe what he says about it being a battlefield. Shigetsu, meanwhile, takes the hose before returning his gaze towards me.
お主ならできるじゃろ。
そうなるよね。
In the back of my mind, I knew I'd end up being asked based on their exchange.
わかりました。ホースを取り替えるくらいなら私でもできます。ただ、それだけやったら帰りますからね。ありがとう、お姉ちゃん。
I'm not sure how to feel about her yet, in all honesty.
洗濯機、全然掃除してない。もう、ちょっとビニール手袋取ってきて。なんでこんなに本格的にやってるんだろう。排水口も。
Man.
ちょっと水出してもらえる？
Who are we talking to? Okay, we're talking to her.
わかったよ。あ、違う、そっちじゃなくて、お風呂場とかから持ってきて。
Man. Uh-oh. And thus, I faced my fate of getting a torrent of washing machine water to the face. Not only do I get drenched, but the water inside the machinery is absolutely filthy. I wish I could exchange this memory for one that I'm missing. At least I changed into my school jersey beforehand. My uniform is safe, but I can't say that's enough to make up for the experience. Honestly, this is probably the worst thing I've gone through since Divine Selection started. I've only got myself to blame, though. It never would have happened if I wasn't such a pushover. Naturally, I'm not too keen on using the bath at Shigetsu's place, so I head to a nearby public bathhouse. Oh god. I'm scared. I'm scared. She's with us too? I'm scared. Okay, please don't tell me we're getting a CG. I'm scared. I can't believe Naomi was right. Whoop. Oh, so that we do have more than one outfit. Okay, honestly, she looks better in red. Alright? She looks better in red. It's probably because I'm used to seeing her in red, but it goes well with her eyes. This whole time, she was actually a he. What? Okay, so it's a he? I should have known based on his stride and his outfit, but his outward appearance really and truly makes him look like a girl. So it's a he. Okay, nice. Good to know. I guess I've got Miharu to blame for warping my perspective. She carries herself more like a boy, so part of me sees it as normal, despite understanding that she's a rare exception to the norm. Okay, so she's a tomboy, alright. Not I mean Miharu? I'm confused now. God, I just confused myself. Oh, what? She carries herself more like a boy. Miharu to blame. Miharu to blame? Miharu? Which one's Miharu again? I think she means Mao, right? Because Miharu is this girl, and she does not seem tomboyish. God damn it. I have a fucking headache now. God damn it. Rinka.
若いのにため息をつくでないぞ。
あんたたちのせいだから。
怖い怖い。
They both tagged along with me to the bathhouse. I guess I should be thankful that he's a boy. Now we won't end up being alone in here. Making conversation with him would be a challenge by itself, but I can't hide my fear. Plus, something's odd about how we both suddenly got headaches when we came face to face. It has to be related to our memories somehow. Okay, so it's a boy. Got it. Okay. So he's a boy. Alright. He scurries along behind Shigetsu. Wait, it's not Shigetsu, it's Shigetsugu. Now that I think about it, Shigetsugu hasn't referred to him by name. Maybe to ensure that I don't get my hands on his name card, but it's possible that he simply doesn't know it. I'm not quite sure how I reached that conclusion, but it might explain why I find the relationship so abnormal. Hey, I'll get some weird looks if I mutter that stuff like dad to myself here. Less thinking, more washing. God damn it! No! No! I wasn't ready. Can we fucking, I don't know what to do here. Let's just speedrun it. Aside pours out soak of warm water. Relax though. Uh-oh. So it's been a while to enjoy a bath like this. It's been a little, okay, fuck, Gran, I whisper quietly, can we get out of this CG, please? I'm very uncomfortable. This is a high school. This is a high school girl. No. It could be worse. We could be seeing more, but I'm glad we're seeing less. God damn it. Speedrun. Okay, we're free. Woo! I probably could have done something better than just that. Hopefully this stream doesn't get taken down. Oops. Is there a reason you waited for me? Both Shigetsu and the boy are perched on the sofa by the entrance. The boy has fallen asleep with his back against it, though. Next time we get a scene like that, I'm just gonna fucking... Just gonna put my face over it like... Boop. Just gonna put my whole fucking head over it. Until it passes. Shit, now I don't know how big it was. God damn it. I don't remember how big it was. It was around here. Son of a bitch. Fuck. Anyways. Hardly surprising when— oh, wait, we don't need to be that. I mean, he probably just has no memories of having friends before, so... He's not much smaller than me, but his attitude and facial expressions make him seem years younger. I give the boy another look up and down. I wait for him to follow up, but he offers a smile instead. I return after grabbing something for the both of us. Okay. Unimpressed as I am over an old man mooching off someone my age, I'm better off forcing him to keep talking.
たまたま近くに公園があっての、わし一人で便所へ行ったんじゃ。この子は好奇心旺盛での、ネズミか何かを追って公園から離れていたらしいんじゃ。わし一人でキョロキョロしていると、柄の悪い若者が3人近づいてきての、親父狩りというやつじゃの。こんなじじいが金を持っているように見えんじゃろうが、自分より弱そうな相手なら誰でもよかったんじゃろ。
Oh, okay, so dickheads, got
わ
it.
しは一発殴られたんじゃ。それで金を出せと言われた。連中の中にはバットを持ってるやつもおったの。
ひどい。
じゃが、そこにこの子が帰ってきた。この子は状況を見るなり一言こう。
Do you want me to kick their asses?
その人たちは、
Oh.
おじいちゃんの敵とな。わしはその時、肯定の返事をしてしまったことを、ほんの少しだけ後悔しておる。この子は直後、病院送りにしたんじゃ。
They kinda deserve it, man. For robbing an old man, they fucking deserve that shit. I am mesmerized as he describes the event in detail. He dodged a bat swing and ripped it from the assailant's hands in one motion, following up with a solid blow to the face. Then he struck the legs of the second one with the bat before smashing them in the face as well. The one who punched Shigetsu tried to run, but the boy spun around to build momentum before flinging the bat straight at his head. He finished by knocking the final attacker off his feet, jumping on top of him and strangling him into unconsciousness. Shit! It sounds like he had a lot of chance if he strangled someone to, like, unconsciousness. Sound like he had a lot of opportunity to say stop, and he just was in shock, which, honestly, if I saw someone pull that shit in real life, I would be too. There's no doubt Shigetsugu would have experienced far worse had the boy not shown up. They would have beaten him regardless whether or not he gave him the money.
驚くわしに近づいて、この子は平然と帰ろうと言ったんじゃ。じゃが、わしは怖いとは思わんかった。頼もしいと思ったよ。この子は暴力で屈することがないと安心した。
そんな戦い方を体が勝手に動いたとでも。
やろうな。この子は自分の体が小さいことを、力が弱いことを分かっておるんじゃろうな。きっと忘れている記憶は壮絶な人生のはずじゃ。訓練と実践の経験がなければ子供があんな動きをできまいて。
Child soldiers and countries rife with combat come to mind. I'm only aware of what I've seen in the news, but there have been plenty of pictures featuring kids holding weapons and engaging in warfare. Assuming Shigetsugu's right, then he might be from such a place. It would explain his cause of death, too. Being exposed to fire seems like it'd be common.
じゃがな、この子はいい子じゃ。純粋で優しい。戦うのだってわしのためじゃ。
But then it's like a nature versus nurture thing. Right? Because, like, we know that the boy bombed the train we were on and caused our, death. But was he doing it for himself, or was he doing it for, just purely bad reasons? Or perhaps, is he, he's a terrorist for his family's sake? I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right words to describe it. I highly doubt child soldiers get paid, in all honesty. But if they do, in a certain aspect, protection for family, or, food for family, like rations and stuff, maybe? I'm not sure, though. I'm not educated on that type of subject, in all honesty. So I'd probably have to do more research into that.
3や11の人たちとは違う
その人らをわしは知らん。誰かと比べてでなくての、この子のことを言っとるんじゃよ。
I can't say I know much about him. And yet, for some reason, I could see where Shigetsugu is coming from.
さて、あまり長いするのもいかんし、そろそろ行こうか。起こすのもかわいそうじゃし、この子をおんぶしてやってくれ。
God damn it. He's doing this on purpose. I know he is. And just like that, I ended up carrying the boy home. We're both a similar size, so I need to stop and catch my breath every now and again. One thing I've noticed is that he's far more built than you'd expect.
すまんの。わしはどうも腰痛があっての。
もう喋らないでください。
怖い怖い。
Shigetsugu isn't the most pleasant person to deal with, I've gathered. That aside, this kid must be as young as I think based on how deeply asleep he is.
母さん、なぜ死んでしまった。
Okay, yeah, most likely he just didn't have anywhere else to go. Like, his parents probably died and he just didn't have anywhere else to go, and then he was turned into a child soldier. That was probably a much more realistic option. I hear him mumbling in his sleep. His speech differs a fair bit from how he speaks with Shigetsugu, too. I stopped dead in my tracks. This might have been what I've been looking for.
どうしたんじゃ。
私だって疲れます。
I move his attention away from me with that answer. Doesn't seem like he's noticed what just happened. I repeat the boy's words in my head as we're walking along. It has to be his regret. I'm going to assume that his amnesia doesn't restrict the content of his dreams. In the same vein, it's no stretch to say that he lost his mother at a young age due to where he was raised. Which means his regret shouldn't be too hard to guess. I do my best not to think about it any further though. I'd best save it for when I get home. Shigetsugu might realize that I've obtained numeral 4's regret card if my books start to glow here. Ideally, I want to avoid making them wary of me. I can feel the sweat running down my brow. Not from the nerves. It's because I'm exerting myself right after a hot bath. I'll have to take a shower once I'm home and done with this.
2階が寝室じゃ。
God, we're only on Wednesday?
この子を布団に横にならせてもらえるかの。わしはお茶を入れとるよ。
わかりました。
I sigh again from being forced to carry a boy upstairs despite him carrying him the whole way home. The day's been nothing but sighs.
ここか。
The bedroom door is half open already, so it's easy to find my destination. I approach the futon and lean down to let him off. He grabs onto my arm.
母さん。
God damn it. He must be confusing me with the mom appearing in his dream. His tiredness gets the best of him though, as he lets go of my arm right after. The strength of his grip was shocking.
男子なんだよね。この子も。
Even though he still looks like a girl to me. Honestly, I wouldn't blame anyone for thinking it. Just look at that face. On the flip side, I'd probably be feeling pretty nervous right now if he looked both his age and his gender. He must be around 2 or so years younger than me. Even if that were the case, I'd probably be fine.
あれは。
I notice a half-open drawer out of the corner of my eye. After I ensure that Shigetsugu isn't coming upstairs, I make my way over to it. Sure, it's a half-open drawer, but it's dark in here. I can't see inside, so I open it nice and slow. I was worried that the nose accompanying it would wake the boy, but it didn't. I could still barely see inside, even after opening it up, so I light it up with my phone.
写真だ。
The shelf is filled with old photos. Easily over 100. Upon closer inspection, some are relatively new. The contents are mostly the same, family pictures. Featured in them are an old couple, their grandson and his parents. Oh boy. The grandfather has to be Shigetsugu.
思った通り、抜け目ないの。
My shoulders stiffened in response to the quiet voice from behind me.
お茶が入ったんじゃが、遅いんで呼びに来たんじゃ。ま、下。
Whoop, sorry. All I can do is nod without turning around. Oh boy. Much like this afternoon, he's made tea for me. But unlike them, then I take my time drinking it. Too bad that doesn't help make it taste any better.
すみません、勝手に。写真を見てしまって。
構わんよ。引き出しを開けっぱなしにしておいたのはわしじゃしの。それに、わしを脱落させたかったらそうすればいいんじゃ。この老いぼれが長生きできればそれに越したことはないかもしれんが、別段これからの人生に執着もしとらんからの。
But just that, I understand the meaning behind those photos.
あれはあなたの未練なんですね。
Family that he held so dear. There are a few photos of him abroad as well. He's living alone now, but it's likely that the rest of his family stayed here at some point.
わしも年じゃ。未来に希望なんぞ持たんよ。
This is kind of sad to hear.
写真を見ると時々思うてしまうんじゃ。あの頃に戻りたいのとな。
A regret rooted in neither present nor future, but in the past. Parka says that one regret represents the future, but that's not always the case. Regret is born from something you can't bring yourself to give up on. In that sense, it's logical that wanting to go back to better times can become one's regret.
無理ですよ。
わかっておるよ。それにの、今はあの子がいるから寂しくないんじゃ。あの頃を思い出せるしの。
でも、必ず終わりは来ます。
Man.
お主とでは価値観が違うかもしれんがの。終わりなぞ怖くはないぞ。
This film makes it clear that he has no ulterior motives.
もっとも、あの子のことは気がかりじゃが。選定が終わった後も生き残って幸せになれるか。わしにはようわからんよ。
私に言われても、もっとわかりません。
あの子の未練のことなら、お主も想像がついておるだろう。
This question takes me by surprise.
あの子の寝言は、わしも聞いたことがあるからの。あれはきっと、あの子の眠っている記憶。まあ、深層心理みたいなものから出たものだと思っておる。キロで足を止めたとき、お主は
This old man's smart. He's smart. He's really smart. I figured that he hadn't noticed the whole time, but he simply chose to keep quiet. This old man is really a mystery.
あの子の未練はきっと、叶わんことじゃ。わしと同じ。過去に向けられた未練じゃ。
それで、選定が終わった後も幸せかどうかを気にしていたんですね。まさか、私にあの子をおんぶさせたのって。
Man.
さすがにそれは想定外じゃ。わしもそこまでひどいことはせんよ。
He laughs it off, but that doesn't quell my suspicion.
あなたは何が目的なんですか？
Nothing's going to come from letting me. Oh my god. Nothing's going to come from letting him control the conversation. I'm not sure if he's doing it on purpose, or if that's just the kind of person he is, but I'm over it.
あの子にご飯を作ってあげてくれんかの。
わけわからないんですけど。
ならばこうしよう。一度でいい。このお願いを聞いてくれたら、わしの死因をお主に教える。
いや、そうじゃなくって。
せめて少しでもこの子の未練を叶えてあげたいんじゃ。
He pauses briefly before explaining.
わしは料理がからっきしでの。あの子が来てから食べたものといえば、コンビニやスーパーで買ったものばかりじゃ。
牛塚さんが作ってあげればいいんじゃないですか？
わしの息子の嫁にも似たようなことを言われたことを思い出したわい。
Man, come on.
やっぱり一緒に住んでいたことがあるんですね。
God, now I'm curious what happens.
息子が結婚してから数年間だけじゃがの。わしの妻は早くに死んだから、わしと息子夫婦3人で暮らしていたんじゃ。
God, it's making me think of my grandma. Cause like God, it's making me think of both my grandmas now. Shit. Good God. Cause like both my grandfathers, like one of them is my step grandfather, but the like real grandfather. Like both of my grandfathers within the past like 2 years have died. Have passed away. And now we're living with like one of my grandmothers. But, like my other grandmother, I think she's living on her own, unless, you know, one of our old family friends is still living with her, but I'm not sure. Man, Jesus, this kinda hits. Man. God. I gotta visit her before I go back to college.
孫が生まれる前に息子たちは家を出て、ほとんどそれっきりじゃがの。
Man. There's a tinge of sadness in his voice as he recalls the past. His regret may have come about during the time when they were living here. I've never seen him look so emotional. That's all I need to confirm that his regret is rooted in those days.
おっと、話がそれてしまったの。ともかくじゃ。これに関しては、わしが料理を作っても無理なんじゃよ。
いや、もしかして。
I finally catch on to why he's so particular about this.
あの子の未練はもしかして、母親の手料理？
Light spills forth from my bag the moment I ask. It has to be in response to my having figured out numeral 4's regret. A regret he'll never be able to fulfill. Shigetsu casts his eyes over to my bag for a moment, likely having understood what just happened before continuing.
あの子が母親に料理を作ってもらったことがあるのかないのか、わしにはわからん。
Fuck, we collecting all of these like Pokemon cards right now. Jesus Christ. We still don't know who the fuck 9 is! I just realized, we still don't know who 9 is. Who the fuck is numeral 9? We're nearly halfway through the fucking 12 weeks and we still don't know who the hell they are. Good God. Back when I was, oh man. God damn it. Oh man, oh come on. What's she like? Fuck, no. Fuck. 5, cause of death from starvation. Shit.
じゃがある時、定食屋でテレビを見ていたことがあったんじゃ。他愛のないドラマじゃったかの。ドラマの登場人物に母親がいての。ちょうどあの子と同じくらいの息子もおった。
Man.
その母親の作った料理を嬉しそうな顔で食べておったんじゃ。よくある日常の場面じゃよ。
Sheesh.
それを見ていての、あの子は泣いていたんじゃ。自分でも理由はよくわからないと言っていたんじゃが、記憶の奥で思うところがあったんじゃろうな。テレビは時々見ておったが、あの子があんな反応を見せたのはその時だけじゃった。それに気づいた時、わしの本が光ってあの子のカードができたんじゃ。
Man.
私に母親の代わりをさせるってことですよね。そんなの無茶ですよ。
そんなことは分かっておる。じゃからお主も得をするよう、わしの死因を教えると言っておるんじゃ。
He's going to beat the shit out of us if we eliminate you, though. His tone turns far more coercive, likely in an attempt to pressure me into agreeing. The sudden change is surprising, but I hold my ground and stare him down. It isn't an attempt to hide my surprise or fear. I'm just really angry with him.
きっとあなたの未練はあなたのせいで失ったんですね。
Oof.
分かっておる。
His painful acknowledgement is followed by him lowering his head. He lowers it so far that his head almost touches the floor.
取引のようなやり方はお主に通じんことはよく分かった。ただのじじいのお願いじゃ。気休めかもしれん。わしの自己満足かもしれん。あの子に手料理を作ってやってくれんか。
I need time to think. What's the correct way to respond to this? It's entirely possible that Numeral 4 won't be able to fulfill his regret even if he lives through this. Not to mention that there's no way my cooking will help him to do so. What happens after I do all this? Assuming I get Shigetsu's cause of death and use it to eliminate him, what would happen after that? Is he even thinking that far ahead?
わしはできることはやっておきたいんじゃ。
I'm doing... that statement alone tells me that he isn't. At the same time, it just tells me how much he cares. It's the same mindset I had towards Sonia after all.
わかりました。
Well, we're not getting a choice, we're just going straight into it. Okay, that's fine.
本当か。
ただし、それっきりです。今日は遅いので、明日の夜ご飯を作りますから、牛塚さんからもあの子にそう伝えてください。そして今後、私があなたやあの子を脱落させても恨まないでください。
約束しよう。わしはもともとお主ら他の参加者を狙うつもりはなかったんじゃ。じゃが、あの子が自分の意志で他の参加者を脱落させようと動き出したとき、わしは止めることはできん。
A brief tense silence follows his claim. He isn't bluffing. That much I can tell.
構いません。それは今の状況でも同じですから。
I answer without much hesitation. My best option is to lower the chance that I become their target. Granted, I've already settled on agreeing to his proposition before taking that into consideration. His desire hits too close to home for me to refuse. Yeah. Because Rinka never got to know her parents, right? Yeah. Maybe that's her regret? It's possible that not meeting her parents could be her regret. Perhaps... Oh, whoops, I don't need to read that. He mutters under his breath. He likely intended for me not to hear him.
では、今度こそもう帰ります。明日の夕方6時過ぎにまた来ます。
わかった。わしはそろそろあの子を起こすとするかの。
I watch as he pulls himself onto his feet.
どうかしたかの。
お金。さっきのコーヒー牛乳の分と明日の買い物の分前払いしてください。お釣りはちゃんと返しますから。
Nice.
ケチじゃの。
当然です。
I agreed to cook for him, but I certainly won't be preparing a 5-star meal. I'm sure that Shigetsugu will wriggle his out of paying me back unless I demand it right now. So there you have it. He eventually gives in and hands me 3 1,000 yen notes. After that, I could finally leave. I crashed down onto my bed as soon as I arrived. It's been a while since I'd last screamed into my pillow. She pops out of the corner. I am here. Are you an idiot? Without thinking, I talked to myself out loud. Not only did I succeed in gathering info about Shigetsugu, but I also met the boy staying with him. And somehow I agreed to cook that boy dinner. I didn't let myself be influenced this time, though I agreed to do it of my own volition. Dangerous as it may be to get involved with other participants, there's something far more important to figure out. Do I have what it takes to eliminate them after getting this attached? I need to find my answer to that before I obtain all their cards. Please don't give me the same scene. Don't give me another CG. I've already gotten used to putting off the questions I can't answer yet. Fucking... that's the mute. Oh, where's the button? There we go. Okay, I didn't even need to use it. Fuck. God damn it. Oh no, I didn't read it. I go to bed each night, confident that I'll wake up the next day. It's the one constant in my life, even with the advent of divine selection. Well, on days where an election isn't being held anyway. I drag myself from bed and get ready for school like always. My plans for the evening are already set, so I won't be opening the store today. I've kept it closed so often lately that I'm starting to run out of excuses for my gran. Granted, she's never too persistent about me opening it up because we either make hardly anything out of it, or we actually lose money. That, plus she seems to realize that I'm all caught up in something else at the moment. Not to imply that she knows about divine selection, of course. She most likely thinks I'm busy with exams or personal issues. My grades are hardly stellar, so it's not surprising that she's concerned. I notice Naomi as I walk through the gate. She's with a friend, too. What do you mean, leave her be? I'm talking to her. Although I am going to save, if I can find the save option. Talk to her. I feel bad stepping in when she's with a friend, but I might as well say hello.
Naomi, ohayo. Rinka-senpai, ohayo gozaimasu.
She turns and greets me with a smile. Right after, she introduces me to her friend, informing her that I'm the one who helped with the coffee stuff for the culture festival. Seems like she knows the rumors about me, but she hasn't realized I am the subject of said rumors until now. She isn't intimidated, though. In fact, she thanks me for my help. Looks like things are going smoothly on that front. Hold on. Three of us make our way into the building together, and then split up to make our way to class. Once I get back home, I have a look at what seasonings I should take with me when I go to cook dinner. I doubt I'll be able to get everything I need with the money Shigetsugu's given me, and buying new stuff would be a waste because I'm only going there once. God, that scene was really short. God, imagine if that one decision impacts the entire story, whether or not I get the good ending or bad ending. If there is multiple endings. Curry used to be at a Lionhouse staple before I took over. I've helped to make it a number of times, but I never made it from scratch. It should be fine, so long as I follow the recipe, though. Curry's pretty timeless, too, so let's go with that. I packed some seasonings, spices, a pot, and a spare container before making my way to Shigetsugu's house. Beef, potatoes, onions, carrots, apples, and yogurt are the main ingredients I need. I head to his house after getting them. While I'm on my way, I make sure to keep an eye out for Federico and numeral 11. I don't notice anyone suspicious. But I think that's due to it being so busy at this time of night. Alan is still spying on us, right? Because, like, Alan, we know he has our name card. Yeah, Alan. Alan was following us. God damn it. Sorry, I just watched Joseph Anderson's, like, old streams on Persona 4. God damn it, Alan, no. I'm somewhat worried about more odd rumors spreading, considering the neighbors' attitude toward this place. But it should be fine if it's just this once.
Oh, 待っとったよ。
あ、お姉ちゃん。聞いたよ。ご飯作ってくれるんだよね。
The nice lady.
僕、何でも手伝うから。料理って一回してみたかったんだ。お姉ちゃん。
That's one way to shatter the illusion of me being his mother. I carry the bags into the kitchen and then hand Shigetsugu the recipe and his change.
そっか。じゃあ、じゃがいもと人参の皮を剥いてもらおうかな。わかった。
Ah, God, I just remembered that all the time, I always remember that he's also the reason why we're dead. Also, I just noticed, like, this almost yin-yang, yet similarities between the two of them, you know? Like, weirdly colored hair being similar, but as we have this sort of reddish design, he has this, like, bluish-green sort of design. Our white is, like, inside, his white is outside the design. Still have, like, the yellow kind of mirroring as well as, like, the darker accenting design. You know, it's kind of interesting.
その前に、まず手洗いね。
I put my apron on before washing my own hands. Are we gonna get a CG? He follows suit, so I hand the potatoes and carrots over to him. Meanwhile, Shigetsugu watches TV in the living room. First up is the beef preparation. I dice the meat into cubes and then sprinkle those with salt and pepper. Beef can be a bit chewy, so I cut some extra slits in them to help with that. After that, I grate an apple into a bag alongside yogurt, honey, and the spice mixture for my grand recipe before combining everything. Yeah, we got CGs! He looks up at me with a puzzled expression, potato in hand.
どうすればいいの？ああ、そっか。そこからか。ピーラーはなさそう。よし。じゃあ、見ててね。
I take the potatoes and show him how to peel it using a knife.
すごい。何にもすごくないよ。じゃあ、やってみて。ああ、包丁は危ないから気をつけてね。
The knife was surprisingly sharp. Not sure if that goes to show how little I cook or not.
僕が研いだ包丁でちゃんと料理できるなんて。
Oh, I see. I don't have it in me to ask why he'd need to sharpen a knife like that for anything other than cooking. Either way, he's able to peel the potato far better than me. Same with the carrots. I decided to leave all the vegetables to him.
玉ねぎを切るとそうなっちゃうよね。あ、目をこすったらもっとダメだよ。お姉ちゃん、やっと笑ったね。ずっと怖い顔だったけど、今はなんかちょっと楽しそう。敵じゃなくて
God damn it. No! No! No, don't get me attached to him. God, no. Damn it, I'm already attached to these two, son of a bitch. Oh god, this is like already worse than like the mom and Sonia combined. I suppose I did loosen up the moment I started cooking. I mean, I've been checking every now and then to make sure Shigetsugu isn't rummaging through my stuff, but it's true that I haven't been as on edge as I should be.
僕ね、楽しみなんだ。カレーは温めるやつで食べたことあるけど、どうやって作るか知らないもん。ただ野菜切っただけなのに、どうなるのかなって。そっか。じゃあ、頑張ろうね。
I let another smile slip. I can't help it though. Seeing his eyes sparkle with curiosity is too precious. Another part of me wishes that we'd met under different circumstances. Yep. Really do wish we met under different circumstances.
Why? できた!
2 hours later, it is finally ready. The smell wafting out from the pot reminds me exactly of how the curry my gran would cook. I tasted it to make sure it turned out fine, but I'm still nervous because other people are going to eat it too.
もうごちそうじゃな。
お待たせしました。これでいいんですよね。
あの子もとっても喜んでおるしの。お主は食べていかんのか？
まさかここまで来たんですから、私もいただきます。早く食べようよ。
おお、すまんすまん。
いただきます。
I get started on mine after they dig in. It's not quite on my grand's level, but this is still pretty delicious. It hasn't been too long since the last time I had an experience like this. Miharu, Sonia, and I ate together often before Sonia was eliminated. Funny how divine selection of all things is what blessed me with all these experiences. Blessed, huh? I guess I need to accept that I've been enjoying myself.
ちょっと味が濃くないかな。
文句言わないでください。とっても美味しい。お姉ちゃんの作ってくれたカレー、とっても美味しいよ。
Oh, jeez. What a good kid. Yep, what a good kid. Oh. Man, he's so precious, I could just explode.
おじいちゃん見た？これ、僕が切ったんだよ。
この人参か芋か。あー、とってもうまいの。
わーい。親バカならぬ、じじバカ？
Whatever. I'm glad he likes it at least. I try not to insert myself into the conversation too much, opting to eat in silence instead.
昔を思い出すの。息子が初めて料理したのもカレーじゃったかの。野菜を切って喜んで。
Shigetsugu, shut up. I'm trying not to get attached.
どうして今になって思い出すんじゃろうな。
His eyes fixate on the curry as he recalls days long past. Small droplets of water catch his eyelashes as they form. I'm not sure how or when it happened, but curry's become the go-to household meal in Japan. Just making it tonight brought back memories of time I spent with my gran. So it makes sense for him to be reminded of similar time he spent with his own family. A clang resounds throughout the room while I'm caught up in those thoughts. I turn my attention to where it's from. It's the boy who just had slapped his spoon down onto his plate.
昔ってそんなに大事なものなのかな。
The past informs your future. Neither of us answer his question. His gaze is focused on Shigetsugu. While Shigetsugu was recalling his past, the boy must have understood that he had no place in those memories, despite his fondness for him. Even worse, he has no memories of his own to recall in the first place.
僕はいろいろなことを忘れてる。でも、おじいちゃんを見てて思ったことがあるよ。
God. I feel like a major theme is like, oh man, it's like kind of like past, future, present, like, you know, just life in general, you know? The name of a person, the cause of death, the regret. It feels like every week kind of has its own theme, you know? Like, its own sub-theme, while having like the main theme kind of like resound throughout the game, you know?
僕の記憶の中にこんな幸せでゆっくりした風景はなかった。
Fuck, I just realized he has a dog tag around his neck. No. God damn it. Ugh. Oh no. All of a sudden he clutches his head and groans in pain.
ちょっと。
It's just like the first time we came face to face outside the dream world. I was struck with a headache as well that time, but now it's just him. Shigetsugu gets him to lay down, an expression of fear on his face.
大丈夫か。落ち着くんじゃ。なあ。
I'm not sure if he heard Shigetsugu or not, but he does eventually close his eyes and pass out. I help take him back up to his room. Once that's done, I finish my curry and wash the dishes. There's plenty left to spare, so I pack it in the spare container I brought and put it in the fridge. All I need to do is heat it up in a pot.
時々あるんじゃよ。
あの子があんな風になってしまうことがですか。
He nods silently before continuing.
あの子が何かのきっかけに記憶を取り戻そうとするとき、それが意識的か無意識なのかはわからんが、ともかく頭痛に襲われているようなんじゃ。その後は決まって寝てしまう。心配はいらんよ。数時間は目を覚まさんが、起きたら何事もなかったようにピンピンしとる。
I'm kind of curious what's gonna happen when he does eventually get, you know, his memories back. It's somewhat odd to be told not to worry about someone who's supposed to be your enemy. But what's even more odd is the fact that I really am worried.
すまんの。そうできたはずだったんじゃが、あの子が嬉しそうで忘れておった。
いえ。
じゃが、あの子が料理も食事も喜んでおったのは本当なんじゃ。
わかってます。おじいちゃん思いの優しい子ですよね。選定がなければ弟みたいに感じていたかもしれません。
選定がなければわしらは出会いもせんかったがの。
Technically we would have. Our paths would have crossed.
そうじゃの。わしも改めて礼を言わせてもらおう。ありがとう。幸せそうなあの子を見ることができて、わしもまた幸せじゃった。
はい。
I can feel my eyes strain throughout this exchange. I really shouldn't be flanked by someone who's supposed to be my enemy. The reality of what's going on here is all too clear, though. Yet again, I'm struggling to come to terms with what I need to do in the face of this small happiness I felt while spending time with them.
さて、ここからはお主が昨日言った通りにしよ
はい。お願いします。
I won't be involved with them anymore. That's the ideal outcome.
タッパーは返さなくていいです。正直、私もちょっと楽しかったです。だから、あんまり負い目は感じないでください。
もともと気にしとらんから大丈夫じゃよ。さて、別れる前に約束じゃ。わしの死因を。
It's starvation. He switches to a far more grim topic before he even bothers to sit down. I honestly wouldn't have cared if he'd forgotten about this part of the promise. I still don't know if I have it in me to elect him even after learning it. Chances are high that I still won't be able to, since I've gotten this attached to them both. So I'd much rather not know at all than face the regret and self-loathing over knowing, yet being unable to elect them. But at the same time, I can't refuse to listen now that he's brought it up.
孤独死というのはわかるじゃろ。
Mm.
はい。たまにニュースでは見ますから。
わしもその一例じゃよ。
Elderly people living on their own is already a problem in its own right. The risk of them passing away without anyone noticing gets higher if they have no relatives or friends in the neighborhood to check out on them. I expected this to be the case for him after hearing how rumors had spread about him starved to death and whatnot.
わしは腰痛があっての、ふとした拍子で痛みが来て動けなくなることも多い。じゃからなるべく缶詰や即席料理なんかを買いためておったんじゃ。まともな料理をしておると、急に動けなくなってガスも止められず火事なんてことになりかねえしの。
So he hasn't had a cooked meal in a while.
それは言い訳かもしれんが。それはいい。雨の日じゃったかの。これまでで一番ひどい腰痛が来た。わしは動けなくなってしまった。はって動くことすらできんほどじゃ。あとはわかるじゃろ。水も飯もなければ人は生きていけん。
I mean,
数日のうちにわしは餓死した。
technically people can live a few weeks without eating, but they can't live a few days without drinking.
一日経った時から記憶が曖昧での、正確な日時は思い出せん。
Damn, I mean, we all died at the same moment, so... Shit, he was like that a few days before we got exploded.
自宅で餓死なんて情けないとは思うがの、家族に捨てられたわしの末路としてはふさわしいかもしれん。
そんなことは。
よいよい、お主も感じているとは思うが、わしはひねくれもんじゃ。あの子に会って少し変わったくらいじゃ。いや、少し戻ったという方がいいかの。家族と仲が良かった頃のわしにの。確かにあったんじゃよ。そんな頃も。せめてもう一度会いたかったの。
Man.
いかんの。年寄りになると辛気臭くなる上に話が長くなる。わしのことを脱落させにくくしているわけじゃないんじゃよ。これは本音じゃ。
He spoke his regret loud and clear. Regret so simple that anyone could understand it. If there's one thing I know for sure at this point, it's that I won't be able to elect him without hesitation. Man.
私はもう行きますね。
夜も遅いから気をつけるんじゃよ。
ありがとうございます。
I don't have much to say regarding his cause of death. There's no doubt that my facial expression as he told me was enough to get across how I felt, though. As I approached the entrance, a knock echoes down the hall. Someone's at the door. Uh-oh.
ちょっと待っておれ。こんな時間に。借金取りじゃないといいがの。
He stumbles back and falls flat on his rear right after looking to the people. I'm not sure what he's seen, but the knocking grows even more fierce.
お主は。
Uh-oh. He hurries back to his feet and reaches for the door once he recalls he has not locked it. I'm shocked his back hasn't given out, but it seems he's faring much better in that regard due to divine selection, much like how Sonya's illness subsided. Now it's obvious what's going on. It has to be those two. I tried to get to the door, but Shigetsugu stops me. Not like it would have mattered anyway, since the door has already been opened. They probably noticed it was unlocked before Shigetsugu. Shit! It's Alan! Oh no! It turns out to be none other than numeral 12, Alan Scorpion. He grabs Shigetsugu by the collar before closing the door behind him. Their sheer difference in height and build causes Shigetsugu to get lifted right into the air by his shirt. Part of me wishes numeral 4 was down here with us. There was no opportunity to call for him, though. Not to mention that it'd probably be for nothing if all the noise so far hadn't woken him up. Why are you here? I should be asking you that. Yeah. Wait, so you were just targeting this guy? Okay. He returns his attention to Shigetsugu.
ちょっと待ってください。いきなりやってきて、そんな。
君はまた他人に肩入れしているのだな。
God damn it, this man is pissing me off.
あなたには関係ない。
You can't lie. Right now, I'm terrified. Those frigid eyes alone are enough to instill fear in most people. But add in his build and lack of hesitation to use force like this. I can't run away, though. I won't abandon Shigetsugu. If he asks me why, well, I'm not quite sure. Fucking try! Try! Fuck you, Alan. Although hesitant, he eventually releases Shigetsugu. And Shigetsugu lands on his backside. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have hurt all that much. Oh, well, not fortunately. Whoops.
余計なことはいらない。貴様の情報だけ話せ。3と11の参加者がうちに来たのを見ておったのだろう。
Sheesh. Meanwhile, what are the other characters looking like? Okay, we already know about them. We still don't know who the fuck 9 is.
だからなんだ。安心せえ。うちには優秀なボディーガードがおっての。あやつらにわしの未練は知られてはおらん。使命と死因は知られたかもしれんがの。なら無用な説明はいらないな。僕はお前の使命しか知らない。
He takes a threatening step towards Shigetsugu. The height difference between them is staggering. How intimidating to have someone of his stature look down at you from so close.
私はすでに牛塚さんの情報を知っています。その意味がわかりますか？あなたはすでに同時使命のリスクを負っている。
僕の使命を君も知っているだろう。そして3番や11番の連中も知っているだろう。使命を軽んじるのは不本意だから。今となっては指名の優先権を得るために僕自身のカードを晒すことはためらわない。
私だってあなたに知られています。だったらもうためらう必要はないです。
君のその瞳が僕をざわつかせるんだ。
は？
僕も自身のカードを2枚晒すリスクは負えないな。だが君に未練を知られるのも今となっては危険かもしれない。なるほど。この状況は力では解決できそうにない。
I hardly believe that I was able to talk him down. Yeah, me too. Apparently we were able to talk him down. What? Maybe it's thanks to what he pulled back at the hospital with Keko. There's no way the police wouldn't have his eyes on him after that. It makes sense if he's trying to tread carefully.
欲を出してはいけないな。僕の目的は君が言った通り3番と11番の情報だ。
やっぱりあの人たちの動向を知りたかったんですね。
言ったろ。わしの家にはボディーガードがおるとな。
It's not me.
だが、この家に貴様の未練への手がかりがあることは、これではっきりしたな。
I'm not sure how he managed to figure that out based on what Shigetsugu said. which means I really have to watch from what I say here on out. I might have convinced them for now, but there's no guarantee things will keep going smoothly.
貴様が言うボディーガードとは誰のことだ。この家には子供が居候していたが、まさかな。プロを雇う金もないだろう。まだ姿を見せない9番の男も結託しているのか。
Numeral IX. 9? IX. That's 9, right? I just need to double check. Yeah, 9. Who the fuck is 9 then? He's the only one yet to show himself. Yeah. Nice to know that Alan and I are in the same shoes.
その線はなさそうだな。貴様は一瞬、僕を見上げるよりも上を見た。
Ooh. Does that mean numeral 9 already knows who he is?
つまり、
Like, personally?
現実世界で接触はしていなさそうだ。
Now I'm kind of curious about who numeral 9 is.
何者じゃ。
余計なことはいい。侮れないな。あんな少女が連中を撃退するとは。
I start to fret over just how much he can glean from the tiniest bit of information. Still, his statement proves that even he makes mistakes. Being able to assume the wrong gender just as I did serves as a bit of relief.
あの子は3の男にしばらくは行動できないくらいの怪我を負わせたと言っておった。連中は協力しているみたいじゃから、11の女も数日は動けないじゃろうよ。
God damn it, numeral... Damn, just as we talk about numeral 11, fucking guess who walks in? God, immediately after hearing that voice, I feel my body get sent flying towards the wall. Shit, bro, she just punted us! Luckily for me, it is the wall where one of Shigetsuko's coats is hanging, so it cushions the impact for me. What? What do you mean Shigetsuko's coat is fucking, how much impact is it gonna consume? It's not, what? The culprit, numeral 11, she made her way in and knocked me aside straight away. Shit. God damn it. Fuck. Her sights are locked on Alan. Yes, please, go with Alan. Surely he holds the upper hand based on physique build alone. Doesn't stop her from kicking him like a bucking bronco in the narrow hallway, though. I should call for help. I should, but I can't bring myself to move. I'm not like Alan. The fear I have towards her in the dream world pales in comparison to how I feel now. This is someone who takes pleasure in harming others. It's entirely possible that she'll target me if I make the slightest move or raise my voice. That terrifies me. I don't even have it in me to try and negotiate with her. Oh boy, here we go. Alan is no slouch either. I'm not quite sure how to describe his fighting style. He keeps finding opportunities to strike back after dodging and parrying. I think that's like off-boxing. Like, if I'm looking in boxing styles, it's like off-boxing or something like that. I know there's like 3 general types, though. I just don't remember what the fuck they're called. It's like the fast one, the strong one, and the one that focuses on countering. I can tell how powerful each of their blows are based on the loud smacks heard when Alan blocks each one. Neither is able to score a direct hit on the other. And this long, narrow hallway doesn't allow them to move sideways, so they pressure one another without moving from their initial spots. Nah. Just nah. God damn it, even their poses are similar. Son of a bitch. Letting your guard down even now, even for a split second, could prove fatal. Even I know that much, but Alan seems to have done just that. She wastes no time in delivering a swift kick to his gut, causing him to back away. This might sound weird, but I'm rooting for him this time. I need him to win for my own sake. Neither are my ally, but Alan was at least willing to talk. That makes him a safer bet than that woman. As much as it pains me, I am praying that Numeral 4 will come down to save us. That's how powerless I am in this situation. Alan takes another step back to create more distance between them, which effectively corners him. Oops. Alan takes the opportunity to deliver a counterattack. He lands a solid hook against her shoulder, which causes her to retreat back to her initial position. Shit. She grins ear to ear. Then I notice Shigetsugu has managed to slink off during all of this. Just as I start to wonder where he snuck off to, footsteps from the stairway gave me my answer. The footsteps belong to numero 4, who comes running down the stairs. He's likely just woken up, but he doesn't seem tired at all. Shigetsugu reveals himself just long enough to nod in affirmation. Numeral 11 shows no fear. Just as her words imply, the prospect of this fight has her thrilled. But just before they can start, the blaring of police sirens pierce the walls of the house. They're getting louder and closer. I mean, you're still relatively well known. She burst out of the house immediately after, uninterested in hearing any replies. The sirens continue for a while afterward, so I assume she manages to get away. I'm relieved that one problem has resolved itself, but I have to at least admire her ability to react and make snap judgments just like that, like she did. Whoops. I couldn't bring myself to speak up, let alone move. Numeral 9 was wary of me the entire time, but her line of sight was focused on Alan. Numeral 9? It gave me enough of a window to message Miharu. I gave her this address and asked her to call the police. I'm guessing that's that's gotta be an error, right? It's gotta be an error, right? It was a gamble, not knowing if she'd actually check her phone, but the cards were in my favor this time. We pile into Shigetsu's room just as the police park in the front of the house. The three of us sit in silence. There's something surreal about me, Numeral 4, and Alan all hiding in the room together like this. So, you have any hobbies? The fact that Alan has agreed to it proves that I'm right. He's avoiding the police. I figured he was a monster before, but his fight with Numeral 11 made it all the more clear. His skills have nothing to do with him being a man or his massive build. I'm willing to bet that he could take on an armed officer and win, but even he doesn't want to turn the entire police force against him. Higetsugu comes along to rescue us from the suffocating silence. Oh shit, he's just leaving? Cool.
これからこの子にカレーを温めてあげようと思ったところじゃが、いらんかね。
わーい。起きたらお腹が空いてたから食べたかったんだ。
Did you just eat?
ちょっと。
I'm covering Alan's face. Oh well. Oh well. That's too bad for him.
あんなこと？
よいよい。ほれ、待っておれ。
He removes the leftovers from the fridge and pours it all into a pot before Alan even gets a chance to answer. Huh. He takes a seat at a table, as expressionless as ever. As much as I want to flee right away, I'm a bit too concerned now. I'm kind of curious. What? He's halfway. Not for now.
でもお兄さんも選定の参加者なんだよね。
ああ。
でもどうしておじいちゃんを守ったの？
守ったわけではない。偶然利害関係が一致しただけだ。
利害？
ああ。
そっか。よくわかんないけど、敵じゃないならまあいっか。それよりお姉ちゃんのカレーとっても美味しいんだよ。
そうか。
でね。
I start to panic as I listen to the painful exchange. The lack of emotion on Alan's face makes it impossible to tell when he'll explode over numeral 4 acting overly friendly. Jesus.
おじいちゃんがね、僕を拾ってくれたんだよ。僕、記憶喪失ってやつみたいだったから。
そうか。3番の男を退かせたのも、体に技術が身についていたというわけか。
それ、話しちゃっていいんだ。
I'm surprised by how readily he divulges such critical info. Alan may not be his enemy for now, but that's no reason to go and tell him everything.
あなたは
Scorpion?
Aren でいい。
Aaron. Right. I wasn't sure how to address him, but he wasted no time in providing a fake name. He must be aware that I know his true name. I consider doing the same, but I'll leave it alone unless he asks.
アレンさんはこの後どうするつもりなんですか？
物騒な話は食事を終えてからでもよかろう。
Shigetsugu butts in as he brings the curry over. He only carries 2 plates, since neither him nor me will be having any. Alan nods in response to that proposition. When I think about it, Alan's from India. Knowing that someone from the land of curry is about to eat my rendition of it makes me a touch nervous. My gut sinks the moment he takes a bite. There's a huge contrast between the slow, disinterested way he eats in comparison to how numeral 4 wolfs his down. Wait, why am I nervous at all? Oh, he's smiling. Similarities go this far. When I notice he said something, my eyes meet his. Oh, no way. This is weird. Oh, god damn it. Don't humanize Alan. Don't make Alan likable. God damn it. Or his parents. glares at me in response.
僕のことを探っているのか。
否定はしませんけど、深い意味はありませんでした。
そうか。もっとも、これは一般に知られている情報だが、僕は見込んだ。
ごちそうさま。
The tension disperses. Oh my god, the tension is dispersed thanks to that outburst. I'm so glad he has no idea how to read between the lines. I never expected Alan to talk about his family though. It's pretty normal for most people, but I somehow thought he was one of those rare sorts who had no attachment to them. That aside, I'll assume he didn't think the curry tasted bad since he didn't say anything about it. I'm gonna move where my head is, cause it seems like the scene's gonna go on a little longer than I think it is, so boop, upper right corner now.
スプーンを使うのはそんなに珍しいか。
I'm just trying to figure out Alan right now. I'm also noticing a sort of sub-theme right now with like family and stuff. Like, you know, with the regrets, if you catch what I'm getting for this week, you know? So like, numeral 4 regrets is mother home's cooking, never getting to eat it. Numeral 5 regret is back when I was close with family. You know, those were the regrets. So it seems like family is like a big sub-theme in this. Thinking about it, I guess I always do imagine people from India eating curry without utensils. Oh yeah, people don't eat curry. Some people in India eat curry without utensils sometimes. Huh? Didn't think about it. I guess I only do that when eating it with Nan. But since he's eating Japanese curry, I don't think about it until he brings it up. The look on his face as he asked, though, so meek. I can't help but bursting out in laughter.
僕の国は日本では偏見を強く持たれているらしい。
He seems a bit peeved, judging by the tone of his voice. My nerves, coupled with the fact that he seems impossible to read, make it all the harder to hold back my laughter. He eventually brushes me off. He hands numeral 4 his plate and spoon to be taken to the sink. Okay, so now I can move it back. Please don't pop up again, so I have to move it back. Son of a bitch! As soon as I say that, he comes back. Motherfucker. Damn it. Not long after, Shigetsugu makes tea for all 4 of us. Alan takes a whiff of the tea before switching his cup with Shigetsugu's, before taking a sip. His face contorts immediately. I can't tell if it's an issue with Shigetsugu's so-called blend or Japanese tea in general, but he's more expressive than I expect. Meanwhile, numeral 4 is rolling his head around on the table out of boredom until Alan breaks the silence. Shigetsugu, yeah.
それはいい。僕の目的はすでに分かっているな。
わしらの情報、カードじゃろ。
ああ。最終的にはここにいる全員を脱落させるが、そう欲張りはしない。
意外じゃの。わしらを脅迫してでも情報を集めると思ったがの。
その少年は記憶喪失と言っていた。であれば、脅したところでカードは出てこないだろう。そして君も同じだ。未だ手がかりがない。これは僕の勘ではあるが。
What? How the fuck did you guess that?
のカードを忘れているのではと思って。不
Whoops.
確定にもかかわらず、強引な手段に出れば、長期的に見て不利になる。
How do you guess that? Amazing how he can say all that say that after when he pulled the Keko. And he thinks numeral 4 is a girl. It even proves that even he makes mistakes. Shigetsugu said that Alan's actions seemed desperate. I feel like that applies even more with what he did to Keiko. However, I'm surprised that not knowing the contents of my own cards could work out for me like this. As for Alan's comment, Rule 4 is the first to respond.
勝手なこと言わないでよ。それはおじいちゃんが脱落するってことじゃないか。そんなことさせないよ。この人は今から敵。
落ち着くんじゃ。わしが嫌じゃと言ったらどうするつもりじゃ。
予想はついているだろう。ここまで来た以上、ただ引き返すことはできない。
やっぱり僕がこの人を。
わしはお主らが傷つくのを見たくはない。それにアレンと言ったか。
でしょうね。
I'm ready to make my escape whenever necessary, but I doubt I could even reach the hallway should Alan target me for real. I could negotiate with him thanks to the info I have on Shigetsugu, but now I'd much rather maintain the status quo.
わしの情報を教えよう。ただし条件がある。
聞かせろ。
わしが脱落するまでの間、この家を守ってほしいということじゃ。11の女性はわしの家を狙うじゃろうからの。わしやこの子が傷つかんよう守ってほしいんじゃ。
僕があの女から貴様らを守ったとして、もう一つ懸念があるのはわかるな。
Cast his gaze over to me.
わかりました。アレンさんが牛塚
God,
さんの条件を飲むなら、
this,
私は牛塚さんの指名を。
I really want the main character to understand what the hell eliminating someone entails exactly.
ちょっと待ってよ。いらないよ。あの人が来ても僕がおじいちゃんを守るよ。
The kid's visibly flustered. It's Alan who opts to respond.
まだわからないのか。
何が？
重次は君を傷つけたくないと言っているんだ。
僕を？あなたにもわかるんですね。家族がいるからですか？
その質問には答えない。
そうなの？おじいちゃん。
当然じゃ。お前は強いかもしれん。じゃが、わしはお前が怪我をするところは見たくない。
でも、僕が勝てれば。
思い上がらない方がいい。僕が君と本気で戦うとなれば、手加減はしない。
無傷で済むとは、わしには思えん。
It's clear that Shigetsugu sees him as family. There's a direct parallel to what he's saying now in Keiko's actions when Alan took her son hostage. Alan's face is expressionless as ever, so you can't tell if he's created this situation on purpose or if it's just mere coincidence.
僕がおじいちゃんの敵をやっつけるから喜んでくれると思ったのに。おじいちゃんがこの人たちのカードを集めれば守れるんじゃないの？
同じことじゃ。彼らから情報を引き出すのは容易ではない。
悪いが家族ごっこは後でやってくれ。一つ目の条件は飲もう。ただし、選定の日までどこかの部屋を提供してもらう。
He clarifies his response after seeing Shigetsugu's surprise.
僕としてもこの国で自由に動けない。数日でも滞在先ができるのは悪い条件ではない。
いいじゃろ。ただし、二つ目の条件も飲んでこそじゃぞ。
わかっている。
いい。
Rumor 4 stands up mid-conversation, almost in a deliberate attempt to interrupt.
もういいよ。ちょっと。
He leaves the room immediately. Alan doesn't seem phased, but the same can't be said about Shigetsugu.
すまんが、少し待っていてくれ。
There's no reason to worry about his safety on the streets at night, but it's entirely possible he could start something with the police if they approach him. Leaving Alan here by himself is too risky, though. It's pretty scary to sit all alone with him, but I stay behind regardless.
やれやれだ。
あなたのこと勘違いしていました。 もっと常識がない人だと。
そうか。
Perhaps buying time through conversation is the best idea, since I'm no good at it, and he makes it a point to say as little as possible. 10 minutes pass and not a single word is exchanged. Alan sits silent. The only action of note is when he blinks. I thought I'd be okay, but it's starting to get to me.
リンカ、君は。
はい。
It's so abrupt that I struggle not to jump out of my skin.
生きたいのか。生きたい人間の行動には見えない。
I can't say he's wrong. I never even stopped going to school after divine selection began. Not like he knows that. He's likely basing his claim off the way I've involved myself with other participants. In all honesty, I'm not even sure how I ended up in this situation myself. But what I do know is that it's all been due to my own judgment. As often as I've questioned how much my life is worth, I've never once resigned to the idea that I'm fine with being eliminated. When I put all this together, it's easy to answer this question.
私は生きたいです。あなたには非効率的に見えるかもしれないですけれど、これが私の生き方なんです。きっと。
These may be extraordinary circumstances, but I'm not built to adapt to them. Average is all I know. I'm easily influenced and prone to sticking my nose into what I shouldn't. That's me. That's what defines Shishimai Rinka.
愚問だったようだ。病院で君の瞳を見たとき、僕はとっくにそのことに気づいていた。
Maybe it's my imagination, but I see him throw a faint smile as he says that. Nope, he did smile.
リンカの生き方がどこまで通用するのか、見させてもらおう。
Who are you, Alan? Who are you? Clearly, he has, like, an appreciation for, like, Rinka's spirit, So, I'm trying to figure out, does that spirit remind him of someone in his past?
どちらにせよ。
Or perhaps he was like that in the past.
問い詰めても君の情報は引き出せなさそうだ。
どこでそれを？
君は選定のルールを忘れていたな。自身のカードを忘れていても不思議ではない。死因や未練を自覚していないからこそ身をさらして行動できるのだろう。もっともそれはあの少年も同じではあるな。ああいった手合いは他の参加者を脱落させてカードを得るほかないだろう。
It really was obvious that I'd forgotten everything about divine selection during my first visit to the Court of Fate. Especially after my discussion with Miharu and needing Parker to explain things over for me again from scratch. Had he taken the possibility that I forgot my own cards into consideration ever since?
アランさんはあの子の情報を得るために牛塚さんの条件を飲んだんですか？
その意図はなかったな。
Oops.
なるほど。ここにいれば何か手がかりが得られるのだな。
Oops.
あの無防備な少年だ。何かの拍子に話してもおかしくはないか。記憶喪失というが、例えば、
Oops.
夢というのは深層心理が呼び起こされる場合もあるか
God damn
ら。
it.
寝言などか。
Who is this guy?
さすがにそれは都合が良すぎるか。しかし、なるほど。君の言う通りだな。
Cutting the conversation off here seems wise. The last thing I want is for him to somehow extract information about Miharu from me. She set it up so everyone thinks that we had a falling out, but at this rate, I might end up spilling the beans on that and more. Setting that aside, I'm surprised he agreed to Shigitsugu's terms so quick. Assuming what he said is true, then it isn't just because he sees value in doing so. There's more to it. He let his emotions take the wheel, from what I can tell. Not like I'll ever say that to his face.
ようやく戻るか。足音が聞こえた。玄関まで行ってやればいい。心配するな。 僕はここでじっとしている。
Man, he's right. I hear noises coming from the entrance. Make way over to welcome them back. 5 or so minutes after he begin his... Is that the wrong begin? He begin his search. He begins. It's supposed to be begins. He began his search. Or began his search? One of those two. Began or begins his search. Shigetsugu found the person he was looking for on his way back home. You? Hold on. Let me find... Is you the 9th participant? No. You? Is that just the nickname you came up with him? Shigetsugu referred to numeral 4 as you, but that wasn't his real name. It was the name Shigetsugu gave the boy upon their first encounter. He cast a solemn gaze up to the night sky as he spoke. Having lost his wife far too soon, Shigetsugu spent his days battling loneliness. Meanwhile, his son got married soon after graduating college and getting hired into a financing company. Shigetsugu got along with his daughter-in-law at first, but things changed when she became pregnant. Perhaps it was more accurate to say that Shigetsugu changed. Knowing a baby was on the way, both made the decision to move out. Shigetsugu's son was gradually moving up in the corporate ladder, so it felt like the right time to go. And that was when Shigetsugu's battle with loneliness reached its zenith. The stress that caused him led to outbursts of violence. His attitude took a drastic turn, and he became stubborn over the most minor things. He would complain about his daughter-in-law's cooking for no reason. Huh? From where? Sure. Well, maybe she can have to do it. Yep. His actions eventually led to their hastened departure from Shigetsugu's home. The loneliness and self-hatred that followed changed them even more. They did get back in touch years after, but nothing came of it. Shigetsugu's issues eventually led to him gambling, which he used as a means to distract himself. This in turn led him to racking up more and more debt, to the point that it almost affected his son's family. It was then that they cut all ties with him. Years later, he visited their home, only to find that no one was living there. They had just up and vanished. Perhaps they thought the same exact about Shigetsugu, considering how little contact he made with the outside world. Are we in their perspective? Probably. And
他に行く場所がないからなどという利害関係だけでないことはよくわかっておる。
利害？よくわからないけど。うん。僕はおじいちゃんが好きだから一緒にいたんだ。お馬さんを見たり、ボートも見たりした。
And
何より、一人ぼっちの僕を助けてくれた。記憶がない不安よりも、この家にいられる安心の方が大きいよ。
over a month has passed since the Vine selection began. Both Shigetsugu and Yu have been spending a majority of that time together. To others, the relationship may have been fundamentally flawed. To Shigetsugu, however, the relationship was that of a true family. Jesus. God, you see, I kinda like the found family trope. You know? 'Cause it's like, God, I can't remember what that speech is from that one anime shoot. Because it's like, you know, it talks about how a fake thing, like, you know, a fake family's love is truer than a true family's love. Because a true family is supposed to, you know, love each other naturally. But a fake family's love has to, you know, it's something you have to work, you know, harder for, you know? Like, from an outsider's perspective anyways, a true family's love is just kind of like natural almost. It's, I don't remember the exact speech, you know? You know, I gotta see what the song's called. Two crossing paths. SIVS. Okay.
僕もそうだよ。おじいちゃんは僕の唯一の家族だ。
There was no preface to his statement. For you, the present took precedence over his lost memories. His words were proof of that.
お前たち若い連中は運命のいたずらのようなもので本来の寿命よりも随分早くに命を落としてしまったんじゃろうが、わしは違う。あの日、腰を痛めなかったとしても、もう追い先は長くなかったんじゃ。わしの願いは、できるだけ長くお前と過ごすことじゃった。ささやかな願いじゃった。だからこそ、必死に生きようとする者たちに拒まれたんじゃ。
わからないよ。難しくって。僕にはおじいちゃんが言っていることがわからない。
ユウ、これからの生き方はお前が決めるんじゃ。
僕が？
ああ、生きたいと思うんじゃったら選定を勝ち残るんじゃ。思わない、そう思えないんじゃったらわしは止めはせん。
決められないよ。僕はそんなもの
決めねばならんのじゃ。わしは数日後にはもう死んだことになっているんじゃからな。
Man.
嫌だ。嫌だよ。おじいちゃん。
He was growing more upset as the conversation carried on. Shigetsugu, on the other hand, remained as calm as ever.
お前にユウという名前を与えたのはわしの過ちじゃったかもしれん。記憶喪失じゃからか知らんが、まさかその
What? The fuck do you mean, a card? The fuck do you, what?
お前は自身のカードを忘れていることが強みじゃったが、それを一つ奪ってしまったからの。
Wait, hold on. Does that mean that his new name? Maybe he never had a name before. And then him, by Shigetsugu... is it... Ushizaka... what? Shigetsugu, whatever. By him giving him a name, it added a label onto him, maybe? I'm not sure. Hold on, I gotta look here. Does that change the name here? Or no, it didn't even pop up here. Even though I thought he mentioned it. Or did he mention it? No, he didn't have the name either. So now I'm just confused.
そんなことない。おじいちゃんが名前をつけてくれて、僕は嬉しかった。
Maybe...
だって、自分の名前もわからなかったんだもん。
It's quite possible that you never had a name. I'm not sure. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong and I'm just stupid.
それは嬉しいわい。ならば、わしの願いは一つじゃ。無理に生きろなどとは言わん。ただ、誰かに何かを与える喜びだけは知ってほしいんじゃ。
Much like how he given you his name, not only a name, but also a place to call home.
わしも、優に大切なものをもらって死ねる。
僕がおじいちゃんに何かを あげた？
そうじゃ。
ダメだ。やっぱり僕にはわからないよ。何もわからない。
じゃったら徐々にわかるようになればいいんじゃ。その時にはその喜びもちゃんと理解できるじゃろ。
Shigetsugu rests a hand on Yu's head before patting it. His words and actions were cheerful despite the context of their conversation. Meanwhile, Yu was unable to find his answer. He had not accepted his reality. At the same time, that state of mind made him all the more susceptible to what Shigetsugu had to say. So eventually, he came to understand what was about to transpire. Ushizuka Shigetsugu was going to die, and there was absolutely nothing he could do about it. I happened to overhear their conversation. I don't intend to, but that's no excuse. I don't catch the entire thing, but one important detail doesn't slip me by. You. Emotion Shigetsugu called numeral 4 that my book began to glow. The resulting card contains nothing but those two words. Two letters. Oops. Ah, God. No, we got all! No, finally, we got them all! Oh no! I hate it here. I hate it here. Oh shit. Wait! Hold on. I'm trying to remember the rules. Cause, like, when two people have, like, vote for the same person, it causes, like, if I'm remembering correctly, I know these two have to, like, give up some of their own information to earn priority. But, I forgot, what about if two people voted for two other people? Like, does it cancel out? Does it cancel out? Like, I forgot. Did she explain it as they canceled out, or am I just dumb? I'm glad Alan wasn't nearby when it happened. Things will only get more complicated if any of them learn that I now have his name. I repeat the name to myself. I figured that Shigetsugu had given him a name, but I never expected that name to be the one on his card. I'm kinda curious, what does the name Yu mean? Brave, leader, gentle, yeah. Oops. I'm just looking at how long the stream is. 2 hours so far, okay. This would have been far more difficult to believe if I hadn't had that conversation about Miharu about one's perception of one's name. What did Shigetsugu have in mind when giving him that name, though? Surely there's some meaning behind it. It doesn't matter. I somehow ended up with all three of Yu's cards, but I don't have it in me to elect either of them now. If Alan elects Shigetsugu, logic dictates that I elect Yu. I try my best to convince myself that's what I need to do, but it's not that easy. Because Alan could pull out of his. He could probably just not do it. And then Shigetsugu will hate us. We make our way back to the living room after I meet them at the entrance. Another conversation starts up once we've all gathered, but it dies off pretty fast. Jesus.
構わない。僕からは特に話すことはない。僕のために部屋を用意すればそれでいい。
うん、分かっておる。
Yu still isn't happy about the scenario, but regardless, the conversation is over. Knowing that, I decide to make my way back home, albeit far later than planned.
君も11番の女に狙われるかもしれない。
はい。
もっとも、あの女は僕の方を狙ってくるだろうな。ああいうタイプは決着をつける方を優先する。それはこっちの少年が狙われる可能性もあるということではあるが、僕がいる限り心配はしなくていい。約束は守る。
I'm so stunned by his apparent concern for me that I struggle to find a way to respond. What is with this guy? First he threatens to kill a baby without hesitation, then he agrees to Shigetsugu's terms that don't entirely benefit him. To top it all off, now he's worrying about my safety.
バイバイ、お姉ちゃん。ご飯、とっても美味しかった。忘れないよ。うん、ありがとう。まだちょっと残ってるから、お腹が空いたら食べてね。
うん。さて、わしが見送ろう。
We then make our way out of the living room.
そんな、玄関まででよかったのに。
Shigetsugu followed me outside rather than seeing me off at the entrance. It's uncommon for us to be alone together, so I take this as my chance to clear my doubts.
鹿さんが脱落したら、ゆうくんはどこで暮らすつもりだったんですか？
盗み聞きとは趣味が良くないの。
わざとです。あなたがつけた名前なんですよね。
そうじゃ。あの子は優しいけれど、
Yeah.
勇気もある子じゃ。勇という響きは日本人らしくもあり、外国人らしくもあるじゃろ。勇。まさか本当の名前としてカードが。
Okay, he said you 4 times. This translation is not accurate at all.
私の推測ではありますが、カードの情報は本人の認知が大きく関わっているみたいです。
なるほどの。で、ユウのその後じゃったの。
I nodded my head, urging him to continue.
現金で100万ほど用意してある。
Right? My first reaction is to look around after recovering from my own shock. I'm worried about any looking burglars overhearing him, but I guess anyone sneaking into that house is far more danger than those already inside.
選定が終わるまでの約2ヶ月であれば、その金でなんとかなるじゃろ。あの子が選定の後どうするかは、わしが関われることではないじゃろ。じゃが、贅沢をしなければ、記憶が戻った時帰国するくらいの金は残っているはずじゃ。
そんなにお金を。
選定が始まってから、わしが家にある現金をかき集めて、売れるものはすべて売り。
But will the money even exist after? Because all your actions will be undone. You mentioned before that his pension and benefits were his only sources of income right now. We talked about being in debt as well, so I could only assume he went through some shady dealings to gather up that amount. Knowing he did it all for you's sake made it hard to judge him for it, though.
貯金なんぞ全部使い切ったし、口座も凍結しておったからの、苦労したわい。
Oof.
後のことを構わず家探しをしたんじゃが、片付ける気にもならんでの。家は散らかっていたじゃろ。
Oh.
道理で。
I stopped both my hands over my mouth when I realized what I'm about to say. It might be the truth, but it's still rude to say such a thing out loud.
構わん。というわけじゃ。お主が心配することなど何もありゃせんよ。
He lets out a heartfelt laugh. I can't find humor in it though, so I just nod.
じゃあの、また夢の世界とやらであったらよろしく頼むぞ。
I gotta get some more water.
はい。
So like, when we get to the next scene, I'm gonna go grab some water.
世話になったのはこちらじゃよ。
He shuffles back into his house. That's how it should be. Things are looking good for me right now. Even so, I make my way home with a knot in my heart. Okay, yay, I can get some water. Finally. more quiet and loneliness. Family, huh? When I got back to my room, my mind drums up images of Shigetsugu and you. Shigetsugu talked about the joy of providing something to another. Was I able to do that for Keko? Was I able to do that for Sonia even? Shigetsugu's elimination during the next election is all but guaranteed. Was I able to provide something for him, knowing that would happen? I heard him out and made dinner for you. There's no need to involve myself in any of the participants further than this, and yet I find myself worried about waking up on Monday plagued with regret. I figured I'm best off acting instead of worrying, so I make my way to my computer. Thus, another day of school rolls by. Did that say Saturday? Or am I crazy? No, it said Friday. I'm crazy. I stayed up late last night doing research, so I'm still a bit tired. And wouldn't you know it, I checked my calendar and it's June already. I'm already nostalgic about the time we went to that amusement park. But for surprise fades, I get ready to head to school. Once there, I find myself talking to the usual group.
おはよう。リータンたちは文化祭の日どうするか決めた？どうするかって、土日でそれぞれ1時間の手伝いでしょ？僕もやらなくてはいけないみたいだ。
Taking to these two helps my hammer home that I'm back to my typical daily life. The culture festival is next week. My class has finally decided to go with the fortune teller booth idea. I'm a bit worried about it since they decided with hardly a month to spare, but it should be fine because there's nothing too difficult to prepare. None of us are playing a big part in it, but we do need to help out because it's a class effort. And said help comes in the form of 1-hour shifts on both Saturday and Sunday, it seems.
違うよ。うちはそれ以外の時間をどうしよっかって聞いてるの。ああ、そうだったんだ。だったら、ナオミの喫茶店には行ってみたいかな。羊さんのね。
Come on, Miharu. Please, calm down.
別にミハルンは無理に行かなくてもいいんじゃないの？いや、リンカが行くなら僕も行くよ。
I really want to say simp. But I already know she's kind of, suicidal. But, I don't know why I coughed. To try and cover that up. It's just YouTube, man. God. Spending time with Naomi should be fine so long as it's while we're at school. She's been working hard for this, so I want to see how it turns out.
マオには何か案があるの？ない。ないんだね。僕は文化部の活動にもあまり興味がないから、シフトを午前中に入れてもらう予定だよ。生徒は午前中まで校内にいれば、あとは帰宅してもいいことになっているからね。なら、私もそうしようかな。他に興味あるものもないし。冷めてる。
No, I know I never went to like a Japanese school or anything, but like my old school had something similar to this where, you know, the different classes, like my really old school, like, it's like this very, very tiny school that, basically had like they had like the kindergartners in one class, the preschoolers in another class, and then in another class was like the 1st through 4th graders, and then the 5th through 8th graders. There weren't that many people in those classes. It's closed down now, obviously, but, you know, it was just like a small little school, and then, like, you know, classes would get together, come up with a bunch of different activities and stuff. You know, prepare food, not like cook food or anything, but like, you know, have like microwavable food and like trade stuff with other people, like, you know, those kinds of things. And like we had different shifts and stuff too, you know? It was also the kind of school that allowed you, like, you know, like in between lunch and like, recess, we'd have this like short break, where basically you could do anything you want. And we had like, you know, played video games and stuff. So like, you know, like the DS, like remember when the DS was still a thing? I mean, DS is still a thing, but like it's like 3DS now. Back when the DS was still a thing, there was like all this sorts of stuff. Like sometimes we'd take turns playing, you know, the different games. Like for Christmas that year, you know, back when I was at that school, I would also like, I got my own DS and I got like Mario Party and stuff. So after that, me and my friends started playing Mario Party and Pokemon and stuff. God, I haven't played Pokemon in years, and it's probably changed a lot. And I was originally planning on getting like Sword and Shield, but then I heard Sword and Shield sucked, and then, you know, I sold my Switch because I'm a dumbass. So now I'm really out of Pokemon. I like how that conversation just went from me talking about my old school and how we had a festival sort of thing, a small little activity sort of thing similar to the Culture Festival, all the way to talking about Pokemon. I won't be able to stream Pokemon and make videos on Pokemon because, like, unless I hash out money for an emulator, I'm probably not going to be playing Pokemon anytime soon. But if you guys want to see me play Pokemon, just let me know. Because I'm kind of excited to pick it back up, but I'm probably going to need to do, like, a lot of, like, research and stuff before I just hop back into it blindly, because I have not played Pokemon in, like, forever. So, yeah, with that out of the way, let's continue. Ignoring Mao's attempt to tease us, we start to trudge over to the cafeteria. Okay. With that, Miles skips out of the classroom. Looks like she's heading home in a hurry today. I'm not sure why, since she generally keeps that aspect of her life to herself. Still, she tends to be busy more often than not. Not like she's in any clubs either. I can only assume she's got a part-time job or something. Miharu is getting ready to head home herself. God damn it. Like, seems like she's working. Why would I not walk with her? God damn it. I'll have to walk with her. She starts to pack up even faster when she asks. Under her notebook is an unfamiliar book. Does it seem like one from the school's library? It's probably a bad decision for me to walk home with her, because then, like, another participant might see us, like, 11 or 3, and then it's like, oh, these two are still friendly. I can only smirk. God, it's a dumb idea in hindsight, but I'm just too nice. I'm too much like Rinka in the fact that I'm too nice. This isn't a topic I could avoid so long as we're together. I tell her all about how I went to Shigetsu's house and how numeral 11 forced her way in. She is wide-eyed at the start of the story, but by the end, all she does is sigh. I figured I'm being optimistic, but Miharu makes sure to beat reality back into me with her words. Lacking a proper retort, all I do is avoid eye contact. Miharu.
美晴は何かないの？くす。気になるかい？
He teases the question with a smile.
教えてくれないやつでしょ。さすが凛花だ。ごめん。
God damn it, Miharu. We move to more standard topics, following that as we make our way to the station. Then we exchange a goodbye and part ways. And now it's Saturday? Yep. Yesterday was a rare day. I was able to open the store for once. Customers dwindle during holiday periods, but regulars in the area still tend to drop by. I'm glad most of them understand my grand's away, so they make it a point to cheer me on rather than criticize my offerings. Mao comes over to chat as I'm getting ready to head home. Man, we're gonna hang out with Mao? That's cool. We're getting some Mao development? She grins as she notices my hesitation. She prattles on and on without giving me a chance to speak. I'm all too aware that this is her way of making sure I can't turn her down. I am pretty curious about what Naomi would try to sing, so I ended up agreeing. The Saturday after next would be the 16th. 2 more elections stand between now and then. I should be fine for this week's, but who knows about next week's? That's not the mindset I should have, though. My utmost priority is making sure I never get elected. I apologize for getting lost in thought before we make our way to class. But we're not in our class? After spending some time in Shinjuku, I find myself waiting for the train. I realize it's been a while since the last time I went to the bookstore, so I decided to stop by before heading home. There are a fair number of new shoujo manga on sale, so I buy a couple to try. As it happens, Naomi is already there and waiting for the same train. She even has the same bag in hand as me, which means we were both at the same store. After discussing what we both bought, Naomi's expression gets a bit more serious as she changes the topic. She must mean you. It's funny, thinking back to that first encounter, not only did I know his name, I actually thought he was a girl. How much should I tell Naomi, though? I can't give her all the details like I did with Miharu. Miharu's warming comes to mind as I mull it over. The exchange is brief, but it leaves no doubt leaves Naomi a tad vexed. If I'm not going to tell her anything, then I'm better off not saying anything at all. Is her back, like, okay? Is her back messed up? Has that big? Damn it, I shouldn't be saying this. Jesus Christ. Her pained expression tells me exactly how the current situation makes her feel. Doing this to her hurts me enough already, but she must feel even worse on the receiving end. That's why I try my best to change the topic. As soon as I do, I notice a familiar figure amongst the crowd. Oh no. Not wanting Naomi to notice, I keep my gaze on her, only resorting to quick glances to make sure I'm right. And I am. It's you. He's standing in the crowd as if waiting for someone. But I mean, there's a very limited pool of people he could be waiting for. He tries to seem nonchalant, but I notice him glancing over to me every now and then.
お店の買い物を思い出しちゃった。ごめん、今日は先帰ってて。あ、だったら私も。大丈夫。文化祭の準備で疲れてるだろうし、ちゃんと休んだ方がいいから。
She nods, although it's obvious that she has read between the lines. Following that, I wave goodbye as she gets on the train. Yu makes his way over after confirming that I'm alone.
お姉ちゃん。
He probably realized that I saw him.
お姉ちゃんにね、お願いがあるんだ。
He cuts right to the chase. I have to quietly hear him out.
おじいちゃんを家族と合わせてあげたい。
Fuck, we have one day to do this.
だから一緒に場所を調べてほしいんだ。おじいちゃんは大丈夫って言ってもう諦めてるけど、本当はずっと会いたがってたんだ。僕は気づいてたよ。気づいてたけど悔しくって、会いに行こうって言ってあげられるのは僕だけなのに言えなくって、今日までずっと迷ってたんだ。僕はどうすればいいのかわからなかったから。でもこのままじゃ僕もおじいちゃんも後悔しちゃうから。
He lets his emotions run rampant despite being out in public. There's nothing I can do to stop him either. Once he finishes his spiel, he stares at me, worry all over his face. I can't blame him. Normally people wouldn't hear him out, but he's probably hoping for the slightest possibility that I will.
どこにいるのか知らないし、多分おじいちゃんに聞いても教えてくれない。アレンさんはもっと無理だし、僕にはもう頼れる人はお姉ちゃんしかいないんだ。だから。
He's probably expecting me to turn him down despite my silence. I don't seem to be in the right state of mind. His desperation to help Shigetsu serves to warm my heart, as does knowing we both thought of the same thing.
同じ会社で異動になって地方に引っ越しただけだから、地域を特定するのはそう難しくなかったよ。
Wow, we figured that out? Really? That's what we did research?
部署をいくつか変えながら電話してみたら、意外となんとかなったんだ。選定が始まって。
Holy shit.
嘘の演技にはちょっとは慣れたからかな。大体の町までは絞れたよ。あとは君の頑張り次第かな。近所の人とかに聞き込みをして家を見つければいいよ。新幹線代と今日の宿泊代はまあ貸してあげる。おばあちゃんには内緒だけど後で返してくれれば大丈夫かな。お姉ちゃん。
Oh man.
牛塚さんを連れて行けはしないんだったら、君が説得して牛塚さんのご家族に来てもらうようにしないと。私はそこまでは協力できない。
Man. Entrusted feelings, God.
ちょっとお姉ちゃん、どういうこと？
Shigetsu said that Yu is both brave and compassionate. I have to agree. I hand him an envelope. Huh? Alright, I'll be out in a minute. Inside is the information I've already dug up regarding Shigetsu's family, as well as some money.
わかってたの？なんとなくだけど、私も同じことを考えてたから。
Man. It's their story from here on out. I have no intention of seeing it through. Now that I've done this much for you, I should be able to avoid waking up with regret if Shigetsu gets eliminated.
おじいちゃんが最後に笑っていられるように、僕、頑張るよ。ありがとう、お姉ちゃん。お金は絶対返すから。
After he says that, he remains still for a moment. Just as I mutter I need to go, he stops me, his expression deathly serious.
もう一つお願いがあるんだ。
His face makes it clear that this one is serious. Even so, I don't expect what comes out of his mouth next.
僕を脱落させてほしい。
You! No!
お姉ちゃんが僕のカードを3枚持っていることは察しがついてた。 ただね、お姉ちゃんは優しいから僕を指名できないんじゃないかって思ってたんだ。どうして？お姉ちゃんに生きてほしいって思ったから。
Ah, you. God damn it.
そんなの。ごめん、大きな声出しちゃったね。僕は本気だよ。お姉ちゃんが僕を脱落させるなら納得できるから。それだけじゃない。僕はきっと生きてちゃいけない。
Did he remember?
生きてちゃいけない。僕がなくした記憶は全然戻る気はしないよ。
Oh.
でもね、時々自分が怖くなる。僕の中にいるもう一人の僕が何か恐ろしいことをしようとしている気がして。もし記憶が戻ったら僕は何するかわからない。僕が僕じゃ
God,
なく
now
な
I'm
ってる
curious about how he was before. Like, who he was before this.
だからその前に僕を殺して。
You can feel the pressure he's been bottling up inside from his tone of voice. That unknown factor has probably been haunting him for a while now. I had no intention of electing him this week, just as he said. Mostly because I don't have it in me.
ごめん、即答はできない。どうして？お姉ちゃんが生きたいんだったらいずれは僕のことも脱落させるはずでしょ。そうだよ。でももしユウ君を脱落させるとしたら、それはユウ君の記憶が戻ってから、真実が分かってから。何もわからないままユウ君が脱落したら、私は後悔するかもしれない。ダメだよ。
He refuses to give in. He knows what I'm like by now, and yet he presses on
お
regardless.
願いだから。優しいお姉ちゃんなら聞いてくれるよね。
Can't bring myself to answer. He refuses to stop staring at me, waiting for me to say yes. He believes that he might do something terrible, but I can't see that happening. Sure, his past required him to know how to fight, but that doesn't feel relevant to his current fear.
絶対だよ。
He cuts the conversation off after a period of silence and takes his leave. Okay, I know. Leave without another word. There's a reason I couldn't give him the response he wanted. Deep down, I knew I just can't do it yet. I'm gonna take a short break. Is it Sunday yet? It's Sunday now. Today turns out to be another rare day. I keep the cafe open all day long. Leaving it closed so often has taken a toll on me. My legs feel like rubber now that my shift is over. Either way, working up a sweat from hard work feels pretty good. And getting to see all the customers relaxed and content makes it all worth it.
よし、シャワーを浴びて早く寝よう。
This week's election awaits. It doesn't actually matter when I decide to go to sleep, but the more sleep I get, the better I should feel in the morning. I noticed a sizable black object in my room as soon as I enter. Ah, it's lit. Lording over my bed as always. In all honesty, it's reassuring to know that I'm not alone.
ごきげんよう、運命の奴隷の皆様。
Parker's voice echoes throughout the court of fate. That's the prelude to this week's election.
録画をせんでも毎週忘れることがないから楽じゃの。
God damn it.
おじい様、テレビ番組のようにおっしゃらないでくださいます？
We're a visual novel.
女神様もテレビのことは知っておったんじゃの。
私はこれでも浮世の流行には敏感なのでございますわ。時の移ろいから外れた存在の私ですけれど、無意に過ごすには退屈すぎますもの。
I would imagine, yeah, it would be like that. She smiles as she responds to Shigetsugu. There's something inherently off about being like her, who feels right at home in the fantasy setting, talking about TVs. Wonder if she observes events in the real world from here, as if watching us on TV.
皆様、そろそろお疲れのご様子ですね。剪定も中盤。無理もありませんね。
おいおい、とっとと始めてくれないか。あんたの言う通り、確かに疲れてるから、睡眠時間は確保したいんだよ。
Federico speaks up in his typical tone of jest. From what I can tell, he doesn't have any serious injuries. You claim to have rendered him immobile, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Either that or the dream world doesn't reflect our current state in the real world. Meaning he's acting fine to cover up the fact that he's been injured.
まったくもう、皆様はせっかちさんで嫌になりますわ。私の退屈をもっと紛らわせてくださってもよろしいのに。まあ、仕方がないといたしましょう。今宵を含め、女神の剪定はまだ8回も残っているのですから。それでは、今宵も女神の剪定を始めますわ。回りなさい。運命の大時計。
Things proceed as usual after that. Each participant announces whether or not they want to elect someone as the clock hand makes its revolution. Naturally, I'm up first because I'm numeral 1. I announced my intent not to elect anyone tonight. In the end, Alan is the only one to announce an election.
僕は5番を指名させてもらおう。
As expected, he goes straight for Shigetsugu. Shigetsugu seems satisfied with his outcome. I can only guess the meaning behind it, but I like to believe his story ends on a positive note. More importantly,
どうして？
a sense of guilt washes over me as I hear those words get muttered. Two people face one another in the court of fates up the stratum. Alan and Shigetsugu. For Alan, this is his third time, much like the previous two. His expression remains stolid.
すごいの。夢の世界とやらはこんな風になっておったのか。
Alan remains silent after Shigetsugu's remark. The only thing in his eyes is the reflection of the old man's decrepit smile.
あなた様はすっかり常連ですわね。
Man, he's eliminated 3 people. Well, yeah, this is gonna be his third. Alan gives no response to Parka, who appears out of nowhere either.
私もあなた様が釣れないお方だというのは分かっていますわ。それでは3枚のカードをお選びくださいませ。
Alan opens up his card book and produces the relevant cards. Did we ever see Alan in this pose? I don't think we... Have we? I think we might have seen it in the second one, actually. In his second one. What's this song called? Faded Selection. Alright. Once done, he reads them aloud.
牛塚重次、死因、餓死、未練、仲の良かった家族。
I'm noticing that pause. He has something to do with his old family, right?
とはいえ、わしはもう思い残すことはないがの。どんなからくりを使ったかは知れんが、わしの息子たち一家と合わせてくれおった。
何を言う。からくりではないだろう。彼、貴様の家族からのメイドの土産だろう。そう言ってやらなければ報われない。
Yes, I am. You admit it.
わかっておるよ。老人の照れ隠しじゃ。
そうか。
With a small smile.
いや、
I'm noticing
意
this.
外でもないか。
And, you guys can't see it because my head's in goddamn way. Oh man, why is he so tall?
誰よりも家族を
Alright, there we go. Whoops.
余計な話をしすぎた。女神、もういいだろう。
あら、もうよろしいのですか？
Before Alan can respond, a bright light floods from his cards. It envelops the area in an instant. Man. Man haunted by loneliness. On the floor of in his home. The starvation whittled him away. All he could do was reflect on his past. He wished to return to those happier times. It was an unrealizable dream, and yet it was one he would cling to as his light gradually extinguished. Thank God it didn't go into more detail about it.
同情もしない。もっとも、貴様の場合は最後に夢を見たのだ。
やはり珍しいですわね。あなた様が少しでも干渉をお見せになるなんて。
余計な話はいいと言っているはずだ。貴様は貴様の仕事をしてくれ。
まこと、面白みのない方ですわね。もっとも、もう幾度かすれば、あなた様の興味深いところが見られるかもしれませんけれど。
Alan's platform begins to move as Shigetsu's cards float in front of him. He must pick a card to keep before returning to the lower stratum. His expression remains emotionless as he chooses. He's gonna choose you, right? Like the name. Sometime after, Alan descends by himself.
それでは、どのカードを選びますか?
4番、未練のカード。
Really? That's surprising. I wonder if he resonates with it. Something's wrong. You seems completely unfazed by Alan's selection. No, that's not quite right. His expression is alien compared to a few minutes ago. It sends a shiver right down my spine. His gaze remains focused on me rather than Alan. I find it hard to believe it's simply anger over me for not electing him. This is something else. Like I'm staring into an endless abyss of rage. My head suddenly begins to pound, but not enough to make me collapse, so I do my best to power through it. I notice Alan's bewilderment as he touches Yu's card. This card, which was glowing white, suddenly shatters. The fragments disperse throughout the area. Ooh! My card books begin to glow as well. Parker speaks up as I notice. I wonder what that means. Like his regret changed. Like, does that mean his regret changed to something else? The seeds of dissonance have already begun to spurt. But this is just the beginning. And we finally got through the 5th week. I wonder what that means. Like, it probably means we're gonna leave that as a cliffhanger. Seems like a good place to end it. Whoops, I meant to go here, save game, back out, and then, exit game. Yes. Man, holy crap, that ending was really good, actually. And, I'm actually really hooked. I can't wait to see what week 6 has in store for us. Man, that week was like twice as long as the other weeks. So, who knows? Maybe this upcoming week will probably take 2 parts. It'll depend on how early I get to stream. Anyways, there's not much I really want to add. I have been watching the new anime Recreators. It's a really interesting anime where basically fictional characters come to life and, basically, react to being fictional stories and react to, the creators creating them. And creators and how they, how some may be in a darker tone series and how some unjustified things happen to them and stuff. Anyways, outside of that, there's nothing else I really want to add. If you were interested in reading my, fanfiction, Thanatophobia, it's a crossover between Zoophobia, the webcomic, and Your Turn to Die, the game. It's in the description below. And, other than that, there's nothing else I want to add. Tomorrow, if I have time, I'm probably going to be streaming Neon White. Hopefully we can get through 1 or 2, bits of missions. Honestly, it's mostly because my allergies were acting up last week that we couldn't do the 2 So, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a good rest of your night.